What happens when a senator's wife gets caught drunk driving and then, right in the middle of her court hearing, pulls out her phone and tries to call her husband for help? This 45-year-old woman is about to learn that some calls you simply can't make, some titles don't come with immunity, and some husbands choose integrity over protection. Thanks for watching Judge of Justice. Be sure to like and subscribe for more powerful real-life courtroom moments. What makes this case unforgettable isn't just the drunk driving. It's what she hit, who she left injured, and what her husband said when Judge Caprio put him on speakerphone in front of a full courtroom. Let us know where you're watching from, because what unfolds in the next few minutes will show that political status doesn't buy freedom from accountability. It's a Wednesday afternoon in Providence Municipal Court. Judge Frank Caprio is reviewing a case that has already drawn major public attention. Diana Crawford, 45 years old, wife of Rhode Island State Senator Michael Crawford, is charged with driving under the influence, causing property damage, leaving the scene of an accident, and failing to offer aid. The incident happened 9 days earlier at 9:47 p.m. in a Providence shopping center parking lot. Surveillance footage lays out the entire event in harsh detail. Diana was driving her Mercedes SUV through the lot when she hit a parked 2015 Honda Accord, severely damaging the rear quarter panel, bumper, and trunk. The hit was strong enough to set off the Honda's alarm and trigger its rear collision sensors. The Honda belonged to Robert Martinez, a 67-year-old Vietnam veteran who was inside a nearby pharmacy picking up medication for his wife, who has MS and mobility issues. The footage shows Diana stepping out of her SUV, wobbling as she checks the damage, then returning to her vehicle and driving off without leaving a note, without calling police, and without checking whether anyone had been hurt. A witness caught her license plate. Police located her at home 40 minutes later. Her blood alcohol content at 10:32 p.m. was 0.14, nearly double the legal limit. Based on the timeline, investigators believe her BAC at the moment of the crash was closer to 0.16 or higher. When officers arrived to arrest her, her first words were, "Do you know who my husband is?" Her husband is State Senator Michael Crawford, currently in his third term representing Rhode Island's Eastern District, known statewide for his work on criminal justice reform and for being one of the more respected bipartisan voices in the legislature. Now, 9 days after the incident, Diana walks into Judge Caprio's courtroom in a stylish outfit, and with the calm of someone who seems convinced this entire issue is just a misunderstanding that will be cleared up quickly. Her attorney, Thomas Whitmore, from one of the most politically connected firms in Providence, walks beside her with the confidence of a man who expects influence and resources to quietly smooth everything out. Judge Caprio watches closely. Diana doesn't move like someone facing serious charges. She moves like someone arriving at a social event where she expects warm greetings and quick resolutions. The clerk calls the case. Judge Caprio reads the charges aloud. DUI, property damage, leaving the scene, failure to render aid, making sure every word enters the public record. Diana's lawyer immediately requests a sidebar to discuss sensitive matters, given his client's social standing. Judge Caprio shuts that down at once. Mr. Whitmore, this is a public courtroom. Everything stays on the record. If your client's behavior can't withstand public scrutiny, that's an issue with the behavior. Whitmore shifts strategies. He acknowledges Diana made a mistake, but stresses she has no criminal history, that her family is deeply involved in Rhode Island civic life, that Senator Crawford has served the public well. Judge Caprio interrupts. Mr. Whitmore, your client's husband's legislative record is not evidence. We're here for what she did, not who she married. If you haven't subscribed yet, now's a good time, because what happens next is a perfect example of what follows when someone tries to rely on political influence to escape consequences. Judge Caprio turns to Diana. Do you understand the charges? Diana nods, though her expression suggests she considers this just a procedural formality. Yes, Your Honor, but I think the situation has been exaggerated. Exaggerated? Judge Caprio lifts the police report. Mrs. Crawford, you struck a parked car while driving with a blood alcohol content of 0.14. Then you left the scene. Those are facts. Diana shifts. The damage wasn't that serious. And I thought since it was private property, the reporting rules were different. Judge Caprio's face hardens. Hit-and-run laws apply everywhere. And what counts as serious isn't decided by the person who caused the damage. He instructs the clerk to play the security footage. Everyone watches as Diana's Mercedes hits the Honda. The sound, the impact, the alarm. Everything is clear. Diana steps out, checks the damage for nearly half a minute, then drives away. It's undeniable. Judge Caprio asks, "Do you recognize this?" Diana answers, "Yes, but I was in shock." Mrs. Crawford, "You stood there for 30 seconds. That's more than enough time to leave a note or call police." Judge Caprio reads Robert Martinez's victim statement. Robert explains finding his car damaged with no note in sight. He explains his insurance deductible is $1,000, money he and his wife struggle to spare. Their wheelchair van is in the shop, meaning they rely on Honda for medical visits. The damage Diana caused isn't just cosmetic. It created a financial strain for a couple already dealing with a serious disability. Judge Caprio asked Diana if she reached out to apologize or offer payment. Her lawyer says they avoided contact on legal advice. Judge Caprio cuts him off. Legal strategy doesn't excuse moral responsibility. Your client fled the scene, and after 9 days, she hasn't taken any responsibility. Diana speaks up, sounding irritated. "Your Honor, I know I made a mistake. My family is willing to pay for the repairs. We just want to handle this quietly and move on." "Quietly," Judge Caprio repeats. "Mrs. Crawford, you want privacy because your husband is a senator. The Martinez family doesn't get that luxury. They've been living with the fallout of your choices since the moment you drove away." Diana's frustration begins to show. Officer Jennifer Santos, who responded to the scene and later arrested Diana, takes the stand. She testifies that when they found Diana, she smelled of alcohol and initially refused a breathalyzer until told refusal would suspend her license. Judge Caprio asks about Diana's attitude during the arrest. "Dismissive, Your Honor. She asked if we knew who her husband was and said we were wasting time and should be dealing with real crimes." The body camera audio is played. Diana's voice fills the courtroom, slurred, annoyed, entitled. "Do you know who my husband is? He's a state senator. This will be taken care of." The room grows silent. Judge Caprio looks directly at her. "Mrs. Crawford, this recording was made 45 minutes after crash. Instead of taking responsibility, you tried to intimidate officers with your husband's position." Diana mutters that she was stressed and didn't mean it. The judge replies, "You said exactly what you meant." Then Diana makes the biggest mistake of all. She pulls out her phone and starts dialing in plain view of the court. Judge Caprio snaps, "Mrs. Crawford, what are you doing?" "I'm calling my husband. He'll explain this." The entire courtroom freezes. Judge Caprio orders her to put the phone away immediately. She keeps it to her ear. "He handles our legal matters. He'll know what to say." The judge's voice turns icy. "You are standing in my courtroom, facing criminal charges, and you're calling your husband during proceedings. That is contempt." She finally lowers the phone, but the damage is already done. She has just shown everyone that she still believes political power can rescue her. Judge Caprio decides to take a step no one expects. "Bailiff, bring me your phone." He looks at Diana. "You wanted to call your husband? Let's call him." Her face drains of color. The clerk contacts Senator Crawford's office. Minutes later, he's on speakerphone. "Senator Crawford, this is Judge Frank Caprio. Your wife attempted to call you during her hearing. I'm putting you on speaker so we can address this openly." After a pause, Senator Michael Crawford's voice comes through, steady, serious. "Your Honor, I apologize for my wife's behavior. She should not have called me. I told her to take responsibility, apologize to Mr. Martinez, and accept the consequences." Diana's eyes widen. This is not what she expected. Judge Caprio asked the senator directly, "Are you asking for leniency because of your position?" The senator responds in a way that makes Diana physically flinch. "No, Your Honor. Treat her as you would anyone else. Her actions were wrong. Being married to me doesn't excuse drunk driving or leaving a veteran to deal with the aftermath." Diana whispers urgently, "Michael, stop," but he continues, I built my career on criminal justice reform and accountability. I can't defend those values publicly and then ask for exceptions privately. Judge Caprio asks if he has anything else to add. Yes, Mr. Martinez is a Vietnam veteran. My father served in Vietnam. The fact that my wife hit his car and drove away is something I find deeply shameful. The courtroom remains still. Diana is crying now. Tears of fear, not remorse. Whatever punishment you give, I support. My wife needs to learn that her last name doesn't protect her. The call ends. Diana is left standing alone, exposed. Judge Caprio goes through the evidence one last time. The footage, the BAC, the hit and run, the threats to police, the phone call in court. Then he gives a sentence. For DUI, $1,000 fine, mandatory alcohol education, 1 year license suspension. For leaving the scene, $500 fine, 80 hours of community service at a veteran support program. For failure to render aid, $250 fine. For contempt of court, another $500 fine. Total fines, $2,500. Then, full restitution to Robert Martinez for $1,300 for repairs plus his $1,000 deductible. Total restitution, $5,300. She must also write apology letters to Mr. Martinez and Officer Santos, which the court will review first. And her community service must involve driving elderly veterans to medical appointments, the kind of support Robert Martinez needed when she damaged his only working vehicle. Her attorney tries to argue the punishment is too harsh. Judge Caprio shuts him down immediately. Your client drove drunk, caused serious damage, fled the scene, threatened officers, and disrupted proceedings. Every consequence fits her actions. As she leaves, she walks past Robert Martinez. She doesn't speak, doesn't apologize, doesn't look at him. Robert stands to address the judge. Your Honor, thank you. I'm 67. I served in Vietnam. I've never asked for special treatment, but I didn't expect to be treated like I didn't matter. She hit my car and left like I was nobody. Today you showed her I'm somebody. Thank you. Judge Caprio nods. You've always been somebody, Mr. Martinez. The court just made sure she understood that. News spreads fast. The audio of Diana calling her husband becomes a major story. Senator Crawford's firm stance on accountability goes viral. A couple of days later, he holds a press conference announcing he and Diana are separating. My wife's actions and refusal to accept responsibility are unacceptable. I can't fight for accountability in the justice system and stay married to someone who expects immunity. Within 6 months, the separation becomes a divorce. His approval ratings climb. Voters respect his principles. Diana begins her community service weeks later. The first few sessions, she's quiet and bitter. Weeks later, she starts listening to the veterans she drives. Once she meets a veteran named Thomas Kim, who served with a man named Martinez in Vietnam. Everything hits her at once. She asks if he means Robert Martinez. He does. She breaks down. For the first time, she truly understands who she hurt. She completes the 80 hours, attends all alcohol education classes, and writes sincere apology letters approved by the court. 6 months after sentencing, she asks to meet Robert Martinez in person. They sit in a coffee shop. Diana apologizes. Mr. Martinez, I hit your car and drove away like you weren't important. I tried to use my husband's position. I even tried calling him in court. I was wrong about all of it. I'm sorry. Robert listens, then says something she never forgets. Mrs. Crawford, I forgive you, but understand this.